Students, in this lecture we are going to study different disk scheduling algorithms. So the operating system is responsible to use the hardware efficiently. So this means having a fast access and disk bandwidth. So it should not take much of the access time and the bandwidth. So this access time has two major components. One is seek time and the other one is rotational latency. So seek time is nothing but the time for the disk arm to move the heads to the cylinder containing the desired sector, right? So we have seen in the previous lecture. It is a time for the disk arm to place the head, read-write head to the cylinder which contains the required sector. And the rotational latency is the additional time for the disk to rotate the desired sector to the disk head. So it is nothing but the additional time waiting for the disk to rotate the required sector to disk head. So both of these should be minimum for that particular operating system. So we have to achieve minimum seek time as well as rotational latency. And there is one more component which is called bandwidth. So this bandwidth is the total number of bytes transferred divided by the total time between the first request for the service and the completion of that last transfer. So it is nothing but the total number of bytes transferred divided by the total time taken between the first request for the service and the completion of the last transfer. Okay. Now whenever a process needs IO to or from the disk, it issues a system call to the operating system. If the desired disk drive and the controller are available, the request can be serviced immediately. If any of one of them is not available, then this new request for the service should be placed in a request queue. It should be placed in a queue for that drive. Now when one request is completed, the operating system chooses one of the requests from the pending request in the queue, right? But the problem is, how does the operating system make this choice? How does it decide which request should be served next? So in order to make this choice, there are different disk scheduling algorithms available. The first very simple scheduling algorithm is FCFS, that is first come first serve scheduling algorithm. In this FCFS, we know that the request which comes first will be served first. But the problem with FCFS is it does not provide fastest service. Let's see why this happens. See, these are the requests which are placed in the pending queue or pending request in the queue. So the head starts at 53, means now the head is pointing to the 53 or 53rd cylinder number 53. Okay. Now according to FCFS, the next immediate request has to be served. Which is the next immediate request? It is 98. That's why the head will move from 53 to 98. It will move from 53 to 98. Okay. Now, once 98 is served, the next immediate request has to be served, that is 183. That's why now the head will, here head in the sense read write head. So read write head will move from 98 to 183. Okay, from 183 the next request is 37. That's why head will again move from 183 to 37 again. From 37 to 122, then again 120 to 14, 14 to 124, 124 to 65, and then 65 to 67. Sorry. Yeah, 65 to 67. You can see there is a zigzag movement in the read write head. It means that it takes more number of head movements to reach from one cylinder to other cylinder. So because of this, the performance will be decreased. See, even though 65 and 67 are very near to 53, it is not serving 65 and 67, but it serves 98. Then from 98 it serves 183, then again it comes back to 37. So there is a drastic movement in the read write head. There is a drastic change in the movement. Therefore, this wild swing from again 120 to here 122 to 14. There is a wild swing from 122 to 14 and then back to 124 again. See, but 122 and 124 are very closer to one another, but still because of FCFS it drops back to 14 and then again it goes up to 124. Here total head movement will be more. So in this particular example, the total head movement is 643. The total head movement for this particular example is 640. Let's see how we have got 640 as the head movement. The head movement is nothing but the seek time. Okay, so now we have to find what is the seek time for this particular example. Here we have to go on taking the difference and then adding those differences to one another. We will get the total head movement. So initially the head is at 53. From 53 it jumps to 98. So our first head movement is 98 minus 53, and then from 98 we are moving to 183. That's why it is again 183 minus 98. Okay, then from 183 it is again coming back to 37. Don't take 37 minus 183. Okay, you will get the answer in negative. Head movement cannot be in negative. That's why take the bigger number. 183 minus 37, and then from 37 to 122. Again it is 122 minus 37. Don't take 37 minus 122. So like this you have to go on taking the differences, and then finally you have to go on adding these differences. When you add all these differences you will get 640 cylinders. Means this is the total head movement for this example. Okay. So if the request for cylinders 37 and 14 could be serviced together, if they were serviced together 37 and 14 before or after the request of 122 and 124, then we could have decreased our head movement, correct? If 37 and 14 were served together, then our head movement would have been decreased. That's why FCFS is not the best algorithm for the system which needs more performance. The second scheduling algorithm is SSTF, that is shortest seek time first. So it is a form of SJF scheduling, if you all remember it. Shortest seek time first. In this example or in this algorithm, the operating system seeks for the requests which are close to the current head position. So instead of going with first come first serve, operating system seeks for the service which is very close to the current head position. So SSTF algorithm selects the request with the minimum seek time from the current head position. Since seek time increases with the number of cylinders traversed by the head, SSTF chooses the pending request closest to the current head position. In order to understand this problem, let's take the same example. The initial head start is 53, means we have to start from here. So from 53 we have to search for the request in the queue, which request is near to 53 we have to find. 98, 183, the difference between 53 and that request should be very minimum, then we can say that it is the closest one. So in this queue 65 is the nearest request for 53. That's why it will first move to the cylinder 65. And for this 65, which request is the nearest request? It is 67. Therefore from 65 it will move to 67. Then for this 67, which is the nearest one? We have 98, 183, 37, 122, 14, 124. So for this 67, 37 is the nearest one. Therefore again we will jump from 67 to 37. And for this 37, 14 is the minimum. Okay. Then from 14, which is the minimum? It is 98. Then from 98 it is 122, 124, and then finally 183. Finally 183. So in this case the total head movement will change from 640 to 236 cylinders. So it is like almost 1/3 of the distance needed for FCFS scheduling algorithm. So we have reduced almost 1/3 of the distance. But even though it gives the reduced we can say reduced head movements, the problem with this algorithm is it may cause starvation of some requests. What is starvation? If a particular request is keep on waiting for it to be served, then we can call it as it is being starved. So suppose when we are serving 14, if a request which is closer to 14 arrives, okay, according to this queue, after 14 we have to serve 98. We have to serve 98. But while we were serving 14, request 14, if any request which is closer to 14 arrives, then that request will be served immediately. Instead of serving 98, we have to serve the request which is closer to 14. Again, if any other request comes which are near to that request, again, say if request for 15 comes, again 15 needs to be served. So in that case, the request 98 has to wait. Sometimes it may happen that the request 98 will have to wait indefinitely. If any requests which are near to one request keep on coming, then the particular request, that is maybe the request 98, may have to wait indefinitely. So we can say that even though SSTF algorithm is a substantial improvement over the FCFS, but it is not the optimal one because it causes starvation. Okay. And our next scheduling algorithm is scan scheduling algorithm. One more thing is, even in this example, the head movement, calculation of head movement is same. You have to go on taking the difference. It is very, very important to calculate the head movement or the seek time. So I will show how to calculate the head movement from 53 to 65. So it is 65 minus 53 plus from 65 we have 67 minus 65, then plus from 67 we have 37, 67 minus 37 plus 37 minus 14 plus from 14 to 98 minus 14. Always take the bigger number first, don't take the smaller number first. 98 minus 14, then we have 122 minus 98, then plus 124 minus 122 plus 183 minus 124. So you have to add all these things. You will get the result as 236 cylinders, if I am not wrong. Total head movement will be 236. Okay. Yeah. So in the next lecture we are going to study scan scheduling algorithm, C-scan, look scheduling and C-look scheduling.